Hey there, welcome to FarmCraft. Common practice among metal workers when they pick up a piece of mystery steel is to spark test it to try to figure out, is this mild steel, is it a high carbon steel, somewhere in between. And if you guys haven't seen that before, I'm going to show you. I've got a piece of mild steel right here, and I put it on the grinder. And you look at the sparks coming off. Those sparks did not have any branching, any star kind of pattern. They're just sort of linear sparks. And that tells me that this is mild steel. This is a piece of high carbon steel, and you'll notice that there's like branching patterns, almost like crow's feet, where the sparks look like that. This is a useful skill to learn if you're working with mystery metals a lot of times. You got some scrap metal laying around, you want to know what it is, or have some idea of what a good use would be. Say you wanted to make a knife. Well, you want a carbon steel for a knife. So you're going to look for a piece that has a good branching pattern. If it has very little branching pattern, it's probably not going to hold much of an edge. This is a piece of sort of medium grade carbon steel, so it's not mild, but it's not as good as that, or it doesn't have as much carbon as that. So let's look at that one. Some branching out there, not as much. For fun, we're going to do titanium because this has a totally different look. The sparks are much whiter, and they have a branching pattern as well. So here's a piece of cast iron. Let's compare that to the mild steel. So the mild steel sends the sparks farther in their lighter orange color. These sparks are barely getting past here. They do have some branching, but they're dark orange. Here's a railroad spike. So this should be kind of a medium carbon steel. That's actually quite good. That had a very nice branching pattern to it, so I would be confident with this spike that I could make a decent knife. Now the thing is, I've often wondered, what's going on here? What is this branching that I'm seeing? Why is it doing it? And what would it look like in slow motion? Well, I'm set up here with a Phantom camera, and we're going to look at this right down to the microsecond. Let's get into it. Oh, and my mother-in-law gave me this shirt. Does that mean anything? I'm really excited to see what's going on in slow motion, because that whole branching pattern, you know, I've heard about this for years and you sort of take it for granted, but what's producing that? It seems like the spark had to come out and then like explode, and what's making the linear look of it is like an after image of your eyes. I think. Let's check it out in slow-mo. So this is at 12,700 frames per second. And we will do mild steel. First off, let's take a second. How cool is that? So what we're looking at is red-hot glowing bits of metal flying through the air. They no longer look linear because the camera's slowed it down to the point where there's no after image to fool our eyes. We see them for what they are, little specks of glowing metal. Okay, now we'll do the high carbon steel. You can actually see the glowing bits of metal flying through the air and then occasionally exploding. That's what gives you your branching pattern when we see it in real time. Here it looks like a fireworks display. At another angle you can see the explosions even better. You guys have any idea why it would be doing that? Metallurgists, material scientists, chemists even. What's going on that's making those glowing red hot bits of metal want to explode?
Medium carbon steel. As you would expect, there are more explosions than mild steel, but quite a bit fewer than the high carbon steel.
Well, this is awesome. I really didn't know if this was going to be able to show me anything in slow motion that I didn't already know. But, I mean, you could definitely see the explosions, the quantity of them, the frequency of them. Very cool. Now, just so you know, non-ferrous metals, well, except for titanium that I'm aware of, maybe some of the other metals like molybdenum and chromium, when you have them, they may, I don't know. But brass, bronze, copper, aluminum, or aluminium, zinc, magnesium, none of those spark. So you can't use this method to distinguish those.
Here's cast iron. You can see that the sparks are dimmer, they don't travel nearly as far, but there is quite a lot of bursting and branching.
All right, railroad spike. What's up with these stupid Americans calling it aluminum anyway? I mean, we all know metals end with IUM, like cesium and uranium and magnesium and sodium and potassium and goldium and silverium and molybdenum and zincium and ironium, mercurium, tinium, copper, copperinium, platinum, tungstenium. Whatever. It's aluminum, it's aluminium. Who cares? All right, now we're on the titanium. I really want to see this one.
So the titanium, you'll notice every single particle ends up exploding. Some you have to wait a little longer than others. But even that one. So what's going on here? First of all, for it to be a spark, it has to generate its own heat. If it wasn't generating its own heat, it would simply cool off and stop incandescing. It turns out the volume of the metal and the surface area is very important to this process. If these were larger pieces of metal, they would quickly lose their heat and it would not be a spark. Because a spark is very small, it has high surface area to its mass, so it's able to generate enough heat to keep the temperature of the object up. And essentially, it's burning. So here are the two reactions, iron and oxygen making iron oxide, and titanium and oxygen making titanium dioxide. Now, the top reaction is not balanced. This is just shown in simple form. Both of these are exothermic reactions, and they generate heat. The key is that it produces more heat than it's losing over time. So that explains why the sparks glow and they stay hot over time, but it doesn't explain the explosions. What is it about carbon being present in the metal that makes it explode? I looked online, tried to get an answer to this, and I was not able to, but I do have a theory.
So metal is nothing more than a frozen solution. So obviously if I put the salt in the water and it will dissolve and then I end up with a solution of salt water. Well, if that was molten iron and this was carbon and I put a little in, and it dissolves and thoroughly mixes together, and then I let it cool to room temperature, it's going to freeze.
The result is a solid lattice of iron atoms with carbon scattered throughout. So as this glowing spark is reacting with oxygen and the iron is turning into iron oxide, it's falling out of this lattice and creating heat. It's tempting to think that it's creating more and more heat and just getting hotter and hotter, and that's the reason for the explosion. But there are a couple problems with this. The explosions only happen when carbon is present in steel, and here, as you can see with mild steel, it's free to make iron oxide and generate more and more heat just the same, but it doesn't explode, so the presence of the carbon is key. The other issue with that theory is, as the spark progressed away from the grinder, it should be growing steadily hotter and hotter, and I think you would see a difference in the color, and it would get brighter and brighter until it exploded, but we don't see that either on the slow motion or in real time. So my theory is that the metal is hot enough and fluid enough that oxygen is able to diffuse into the internals of the lattice, and when it reacts with the carbon, it's going to make carbon dioxide that will then generate pressure and cause the explosion. But I don't know the answer here. Leave a comment below on what you think. I could go to the local university, interview a bunch of professors, and get their opinions. What do you think this is? Smarter every day? Let's finish with a quiz. I'm going to show you some sparks. You tell me what it is. Here are your options. I'll post the answers in the description.
All right, so there you go. Little in-depth review of spark testing metals. Hope you guys enjoyed. We'll see you next time.